You think you know crocodiles? Think again, because what I'm about to show you will completely change how you see these ancient predators. We're talking about animals that can hold their breath for hours, that have been around since the time of dinosaurs, and that possess a bite force that makes a great white shark look weak. But here's the thing, that's just scratching the surface. Crocodiles have abilities so bizarre, so otherworldly, that scientists are still trying to figure out how they're even possible. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why nothing about these creatures makes sense. Let's dive in. The immortal monsters. First things first, crocodiles don't age like we do. And I'm not exaggerating. While you and I are getting older with every passing year, crocodiles just don't. They exhibit something called negligible senescence, which is a fancy way of saying they don't really show signs of aging. A 100-year-old crocodile is basically as strong and healthy as a 30-year-old one. They don't get weaker, they don't get slower, and they certainly don't get less deadly. But here's where it gets absolutely insane. Crocodiles don't die of old age. Read that again. They don't die of old age. The only things that kill crocodiles are starvation, disease, or other animals, including other crocodiles. If you gave a crocodile unlimited food and protected it from threats, it could theoretically live forever. Scientists have studied their cells and found that unlike humans, whose cells deteriorate over time, crocodile cells just keep regenerating at the same rate throughout their entire lives. And it gets even crazier. The older a crocodile gets, the bigger it gets. They never stop growing, ever. So imagine a crocodile that's been alive for 200 years. It would be an absolute monster. And we're not talking about a little bit bigger. We're talking about creatures that could be over 20 feet long and weigh more than a car. In fact, there are legends of crocodiles in Africa and Australia that are so massive, people think they're myths. But here's the terrifying truth, they probably aren't. The death roll engineering. Now, let's talk about their signature move, the death roll. You've seen it in documentaries. A crocodile grabs its prey and starts spinning like a demonic washing machine. But do you know why they do this? It's not just for show. It's one of the most brilliant hunting adaptations in nature. See, crocodiles have a problem. Their teeth are designed to grip, not to slice. Unlike sharks who can bite through flesh with their serrated teeth, crocodile teeth are cone-shaped. They're basically just really sharp pegs, designed to hold on to things. So how does a crocodile eat something as large as a wildebeest? It can't exactly chew it. This is where the death roll comes in. When a crocodile latches onto prey, it uses the death roll to rip off chunks of meat. The spinning motion, combined with their grip, strength, creates torsional force that literally tears flesh apart. But here's the genius part. They're not just randomly spinning. Crocodiles can control the direction and speed of their roll with incredible precision. They can roll toward the water to drown prey, or roll parallel to the water to disorient it. They can even do multiple rolls in different directions to confuse their victim. And the physics behind it? Absolutely mind-blowing. When a crocodile does a death roll, it generates forces up to 2,000 pounds per square inch on the tissue it's gripping. That's enough force to rip an adult human arm clean off. In fact, there are documented cases of crocodile attack survivors who lost limbs not because the crocodile bit them off, but because the death roll tore them off. The invisible hunters. But the death roll only works if they can catch you first. And this is where crocodiles become straight up supernatural. These animals are the ultimate ambush predators. And I mean, ultimate. A crocodile can sit motionless in water for hours, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. But it's not just staying still. They're actively disguising themselves. First, they use something called aquatic crypsis. Basically, they position themselves so that only their eyes and nostrils are above water. The rest of their body is completely submerged. And because of their coloration, that muddy brown and green pattern, they look exactly like a floating log. Animals come down to drink water, see what they think is a harmless piece of wood, and boom, too late. But it gets more impressive. Crocodiles have special scales on their backs called scutes that are actually sensory organs. These things can detect the tiniest vibrations in water. We're talking about detecting a single drop of water falling from 20 feet away. They can sense when an animal steps into the water from 100 yards away. They can feel the heartbeat of prey through the vibrations in the water. It's like having motion sensors built into their skin. And here's something that'll blow your mind. Crocodiles hunt by sound. They have incredible hearing, and they've learned to recognize specific sounds that mean food. The sound of animals drinking, the sound of hooves on mud, even the sound of distressed prey. There are reports from Africa of crocodiles that learn to recognize the sound of wildebeest migration weeks before it happens, and they position themselves along river crossings in advance. The supersonic strike. When a crocodile decides to strike, what happens next defies belief. The average human reaction time is about 250 milliseconds. A crocodile's strike? 50 milliseconds. That's 5 times faster than you can blink. In fact, high-speed cameras have clocked crocodile strikes at speeds reaching 25 miles per hour out of water. That might not sound fast, but remember, they're lunging from a dead stop in water. The acceleration is absolutely bonkers, but here's what makes it even more terrifying. When a crocodile lunges, it doesn't just use its jaw muscles, it uses its entire body. The tail acts as a spring, storing elastic energy. The legs push off the bottom, the body twists, and all of that energy is released in a fraction of a second, concentrated into those massive jaws. The result? An impact force that can shatter bones instantly. And once those jaws close, game over. A large saltwater crocodile has a bite force of over 3,700 pounds per square inch. That's the strongest bite force of any animal alive today. It's stronger than a T-Rex. It's 3 times stronger than a lion. It's strong enough to bite through a steel pipe. Once a crocodile has you in its jaws, escape is basically impossible. Those jaw muscles are so powerful that you couldn't pry them open with a crowbar. But here's the weird part. The muscles that open a crocodile's jaw are incredibly weak. So weak that you could hold a crocodile's mouth shut with your bare hands. Crocodile handlers use this all the time. They just tape the mouth shut. But good luck trying that in the water when a 2,000-pound apex predator is trying to eat you. The sensory superpowers. Now we need to talk about their senses, because this is where crocodiles go from impressive to absolutely absurd. Let's start with their eyes. Crocodiles have what's called a tapetum lucidum, the same thing that makes cat eyes glow at night. This is a reflective layer behind the retina that essentially doubles the amount of light their eyes can capture. It means they can see in conditions that would be pitch black to us. But it's not just night vision. Crocodiles have a third eyelid called a nictitating membrane that acts like built-in goggles. This membrane is clear, so they can see underwater while keeping their eyes protected. And their eyes are positioned on top of their head, giving them a nearly 360-degree field of vision. They can see what's in front, to the sides, and behind them all at the same time. Their sense of smell is equally ridiculous. Crocodiles can smell a drop of blood in an Olympic-sized swimming pool. They can detect prey from over a mile away, just by scent. And they use this ability in ways that are honestly pretty clever. Female crocodiles can smell the sex of their babies while they're still in the eggs. Male crocodiles can smell when a female is ready to mate from miles away. But the craziest sense they have? Those bumps on their jaws called integumentary sensory organs. Scientists only recently figured out what these things do, and it's wild. These bumps can detect pressure changes, chemical signals, and electromagnetic fields in the water. Yes, you read that right. Crocodiles can sense electrical signals. They can detect the electrical activity of your heartbeat and your muscles moving. This means that even if you're perfectly still underwater, a crocodile can find you just by sensing your bioelectricity. The temperature hackers. Here's something that sounds like science fiction. Crocodiles can choose the gender of their babies. No, seriously. Crocodiles are one of the few animals where the gender isn't determined by chromosomes, but by temperature. This is called temperature-dependent sex determination, and it's absolutely bonkers. When a mother crocodile lays her eggs, the temperature of the nest determines whether the babies will be male or female. Warmer temperatures produce males. Cooler temperatures produce females. And here's where it gets strategic. Mother crocodiles know this. They've been observed carefully selecting nest sites based on temperature. If they want more males, they'll build nests in sunny, warm areas. If they want more females, they'll choose shaded, cooler spots. Some scientists think this is an evolutionary advantage. In harsh conditions, females might be more valuable for keeping the population going. In good conditions, having more males means more genetic diversity. Whatever the reason, it means crocodiles have a level of reproductive control that most animals could only dream of. And the precision is insane. We're talking about just a few degrees making the difference. In most species, temperatures around 31 to 32 degrees Celsius produce males, while anything below 30 degrees Celsius or above 33 degrees Celsius produces females. The mother crocodile can control this by choosing the depth of the nest, the amount of vegetation cover, and even the proximity to water. It's temperature engineering at its finest. But wait, there's more. Crocodile eggs have this insane ability to pause their development. If conditions aren't right, maybe it's too dry or too cold, the embryos can just wait. They'll sit there in developmental stasis until conditions improve. Some species can delay hatching for weeks or even months. Imagine if humans could do that. Sorry, boss, I'm not ready to be born yet. Check back in a few weeks. And when those babies are ready to hatch, the mother can hear them calling from inside the eggs. That's right. Baby crocodiles communicate with their mother before they're even born. They make high-pitched chirping sounds, and when the mother hears these calls, she knows it's time. She'll dig up the nest, and get this, she'll actually help the babies hatch by gently cracking the eggs in her mouth. The same jaws that can crush a buffalo will delicately crack an eggshell without harming the baby inside. Talk about precision control. The social geniuses. Everything I've told you so far makes crocodiles sound like mindless killing machines. But here's the plot twist. They're actually incredibly intelligent and social animals. Scientists have observed behaviors in crocodiles that we typically only associate with mammals and birds. Crocodiles hunt cooperatively. They've been seen working together to herd fish into shallow water, where they're easier to catch. They coordinate attacks on large prey, with some crocodiles blocking escape routes while others attack. There are even reports of crocodiles using tools, placing sticks on their snouts during bird nesting season because birds looking for nest material will come investigate and snap. This makes crocodiles one of the few reptiles known to use tools. That's a level of intelligence that puts them in the same category as primates and dolphins. They communicate with each other using a variety of vocalizations. Baby crocodiles make chirping sounds while still in the egg, and the mother can hear these sounds and will help them hatch. Adults use bellows, roars, and low-frequency rumbles that can travel for miles through water. They can even communicate using infrasound, frequencies too low for humans to hear, but that other crocodiles can detect from incredible distances. But the communication goes beyond just sound. Crocodiles use body language extensively. They'll slap their heads on the water surface to establish dominance or attract mates. They perform elaborate courtship displays involving head rubbing, bubble blowing, and synchronized swimming. Male crocodiles will emit low-frequency bellows that make the water on their backs literally dance. It's called the water dance, and it's one of the most spectacular displays in the animal kingdom. And get this, crocodiles play. Young crocodiles have been observed playing with each other, surfing on waves, and even playing with objects like balls and floating debris. Adult crocodiles have been seen giving their young piggyback rides in the water. This kind of play behavior is a sign of high intelligence and emotional complexity. It suggests that crocodiles experience something beyond just survival instincts. They form social hierarchies, remember individual humans and other animals, and can even show something that looks a lot like affection toward their young, and sometimes toward each other. There are documented cases of crocodiles recognizing individual human keepers and responding differently to them than to strangers. Some crocodiles have been observed sharing food with others, which is almost unheard of in reptiles. Mother crocodiles are particularly impressive. They don't just lay eggs and leave like most reptiles. They guard their nests for months, sometimes without eating. When the babies hatch, the mother will carry them gently in her mouth to the water. She'll protect her young for up to a year or more, teaching them how to hunt and avoid danger. This level of parental care is rare in reptiles and shows a sophistication that most people don't associate with these ancient creatures. The survivors. But perhaps the most mind-blowing thing about crocodiles is simply this. They've survived everything. Crocodiles have been around for over 200 million years. Let that sink in. They survived the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs. They survived multiple ice ages. They've survived every mass extinction event for the past 200 million years, while entire continents shifted, while oceans rose and fell, while 99% of all species that ever existed went extinct. Crocodiles just kept doing their thing. How? Partially because they're incredibly adaptable. Crocodiles can live in salt water or fresh water. They can handle extreme heat and surprising cold. Some species can tolerate weeks without food. They can survive with limited oxygen. American alligators have been found frozen in ice with just their nostrils sticking out, and when the ice melts, they just wake up and continue on like nothing happened. Their metabolism is another superpower. Crocodiles can slow their metabolic rate to almost nothing when food is scarce. While you and I need to eat every day, a crocodile can go 6 months to a year without eating, and I'm not talking about being weak and starving. They maintain their muscle mass and strength the entire time. It's like they have a built-in pause button for life. And here's something absolutely wild. Crocodiles can hold their breath for hours. The record is somewhere around 4 to 7 hours, depending on the species and conditions. They do this by slowing their heart rate down to just 2 to 3 beats per minute. For reference, your resting heart rate is probably around 60 to 80 beats per minute. Crocodiles can literally dial theirs down to almost nothing. This ability allows them to hide underwater, waiting for prey, for longer than any other predator on Earth. But there's another reason they survived when dinosaurs didn't. Crocodiles are semi-aquatic. When that asteroid hit 66 million years ago and caused massive fires and climate catastrophe, animals that lived in water had a huge advantage. The water protected them from the heat. It stabilized temperatures. It provided food sources that terrestrial environments lost. While T-Rex and Triceratops went extinct, crocodiles just kept on going. And they haven't changed much either. Fossil crocodiles from 100 million years ago look almost identical to modern crocodiles. You know what that means? It means evolution looked at crocodiles and said, "Yeah, you're perfect. No notes." When an animal design is so effective that it doesn't need to evolve for 100 million years, you know you're dealing with something special. In fact, the crocodilian body plan is so successful that it's been copied by evolution multiple times. There were land crocodiles that ran on 2 legs. There were crocodiles the size of city buses. There were even crocodiles with hooves. But you know what survived? The semi-aquatic ambush predator design. Because it works. It's always worked. And it will probably keep working long after humans are gone. Nothing about crocodiles is normal. And honestly, that's what makes them absolutely incredible. Tell me what video you want me to make next. In the meantime, be careful the next time you go swimming.